Learning chord progressions is an important part of learning jazz. The good news is that many jazz standards actually use the same chord progressions, and in this video I'd like to share with you 5 really important, super commonly used jazz progressions that are going to help you become a better jazz guitar player. Guys, let's do this. Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Jamie Holroyd. I'm the founder of jamieholroydguitar.com, which is a blog, videos, Skype and Zoom jazz guitar coaching, all geared to helping you become a better jazz guitar player. And if you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that subscribe button below so that you can get access to all the free jazz guitar lessons which I'm going to share with you. So let's talk about the important jazz chord progressions which are going to help you become a better jazz guitar player. So there's 5 of them, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you my favourite jazz chord progression. Okay, so the first one that we're going to talk about is the 2-5-1 progression. The 2-5-1 progression. And on this first point, I'm referring to both major and minor 2-5-1. So in the key of C major, if we're talking about a major 2-5-1, we're talking D minor 7, G7, and then C major 7. Alright, now what you sometimes get is a long 2-5-1, and what that means is that you have 1 bar of each chord. So that means D minor 7 for a bar, G7 for a bar, C major 7 for 1 bar. Usually 2 bars, but just for teaching purposes, 1 bar keeps it nice and easy to memorize. Alright, so that's a long 2-5-1. Now a short 2-5-1 means that you have half a bar of the 2 chord, half a bar of the 5 chord, and a full bar of the 1 chord. So that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Alright, so that's long and short 2-5s. Now the minor 2-5-1 is slightly different. Minor 2-5-1s usually have a minor 7 flat 5 rather than a minor 7, some kind of G altered. In this case I'm playing a G7 flat 13, and of course a C minor 7, or even sometimes a C minor 6 chord as being a 1 chord as well. So I'll give you an example of that. So the minor 2-5-1 sounds like this. So that's a minor 2-5-1. Sometimes you get like a hybrid of these. So you'll get basically in a song like, say, What Is This Thing Called Love, you might get something like a minor 7 flat 5, an altered, and then you'll get a 1 major 7 chord. So you'll get the extensions that would suggest a minor 2-5-1, but actually the chord goes to a major chord instead of a minor. Alright, so that's kind of the other one to consider there as well. So that is the first must know jazz chord progression, really, major and minor 2-5-1s. And guys, if you have any comments on these, and if you have any experience seeing these in jazz standards, then please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you think of some of these. Okay, so the second important chord progression that you need to know is the 1-6-2-5 chord progression. Alright, so in the key of C, if you're keeping this as diatonic and simple as possible, you're going to have C major 7 for half a bar, A minor 7 for half a bar, D minor 7 for half a bar, and G7 for half a bar. So and that gives you that sound. Okay, so just as that is, you will often hear this progression used in tunes like, say, the rhythm changes over and over again, where you've got a 1-6-2-5, then some variations. So when I say 1-6-2-5, what I mean by that is, yes, you can get an initial 1-6-2-5, C major, A minor, D minor, G in the key of C, but there are many variations to that which you can learn as well. Like, for example, a 3-6-2-5 would be an E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. And these are all variations that you just know and are aware of as you develop your knowledge of jazz standards. Like, for example, and these can really be developed in all kinds of ways, and I don't want to get too much into that now, but one example would be if you're looking at a tune like Satin Doll, the turnaround there, the back cycle to 2, that actually, you know, that is still a turnaround, and that is also a variation of that kind of progression as well. So these are all things to be aware of. So the second thing is a 1, 6, 2, 5 chord progression. So firstly, major and minor 2, 5, 1 progressions. The second one was 1, 6, 2, 5 chord progressions. The third one is 1 to a dominant 2 chord. 1 to a dominant 2 chord. And a classic example of this is take the A train, where you've got C major 7 for two bars. And then I had a D dominant 7 for 2 bars as well. It's 1, and then you go to 2, but you make it a dominant chord. And another classic progression that uses this, I'm sure most of you have heard of Girl from Ipanema. That's the same thing as well, where you've got a 1 major 7 going to a 2 dominant chord after that as well. So 1, 2, 2 dominant, and that's another example of where this is used. Okay, so that's the third one right there. Now, the fourth one that I'm going to be talking about is the cycle of fourths. The cycle of fourths. This is sometimes known as a rhythm changes bridge as well. And in actual fact, it's got the same root movement as the 2-5-1. So the 2-5-1, if you remember, D, G, C. Now, if we make all of these chords dominant, so we have a D7, a G7, then a C7. We're halfway there, or should I say 3/4 of the way there, to generating a full rhythm changes bridge. So if I add one more chord to this and I make all these chords dominant, if I go D7, G7, C7, then an F7, that gives me a full rhythm changes bridge. And I'll play this for you just so you can hear it. So you've got D7 for 2 bars, a G, then I'm going back into the rhythm changes A section afterwards there. So that type of bridge you'll often hear on tunes like Scrapple from the Apple, Anthropology. Those type of bebop tunes will use that motion, but then some of the jazz standards like Sweet Georgia Brown use that kind of cyclic dominant movement as well. So it's kind of an old school thing, to be honest with you, but if you want to learn bebop, it's a really important one to know. So that's the rhythm changes bridge, which is like cycling dominance technically. Alright, so the last one, which is my favourite, is the backdoor 2-5. Okay, the backdoor 2-5-1. So in the key of C, if you think about getting to C, we typically have a D minor 7, then a G7. Now the backdoor, if you think of the 7th degree of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then you flatten that. So now we've got a B flat, we've got a B flat 7, now C. What is the 2 that goes with B flat 7? If the B flat 7 was acting as a 2-5-1, what would be the 2 chord? Well, the 2 chord would be an F minor 7. So F minor 7, B flat 7, and then we go to C major 7. Okay, so that's what's meant as a backdoor 2-5. It's like coming round. It's going around the back door to get to the 1 chord, whereas I guess a standard 2-5-1 would be like, you know, the D minor 7 G. That would be like the front door way of getting to that, and it kind of implies somewhat of an altered sound as well. But I'll play it for you so you can hear it. So. And what I'll do is I'll play a regular major 2-5-1, then I'll play a backdoor 2-5-1 so you can have the contrast. So. got both there so you can hear what they sound like. So when you've memorized these, and I really suggest memorizing them in all 12 keys, what you then want to do is take a jazz standard tune and see if you can spot these in a standard. So say for example, if you take the tune Misty, and you look at the what's going on there. So you've got a 1 chord, which is E flat major 7, and then we have a 2-5-1, a major 2-5-1 in A flat. Okay, then we have a minor 7 chord. We have A flat minor to D flat, and this is the backdoor 2-5, right? A flat minor 7 to D flat dominant 7, and then the E flat. Right, so I'll kind of try and talk and play what's going on at the same time. So starting from the E flat, 1, 2, 5, 1, backdoor to E flat, and then here we have a 1-6-2-5 chord progression in E flat, and then we have the variation of the 1-6-2-5, G minor 7, C 7, F minor 7, B flat. So there's our 3-6-2-5 in E flat. So really, if you were playing Misty with me on a gig and you didn't know Misty, I could say, hey, you know what, it starts on a 1 chord, we've got a 2-5-1, up a 4th, and then we've got a backdoor 2-5 into the 1 chord, then that 1 chord acts as a 1-6-2-5, then a 3-6-2-5. So that might sound intimidating if you don't know any of these, but don't worry, I'm hopefully showing you what you can do with these going forward. So that will conclude this lesson. Those are the 5 must-know jazz chord progressions, but I'm really curious to know what you guys think of these jazz chord progressions as well. Please share your thoughts in the comment section and let me know.